Hello beautiful people. I've got a game here I need to put more eyes on. Carput Mortum from Wildarts Games. A horror with a very interesting control scheme. I'm here to tell you, this is something quite special they've cooked up. But before we talk about the game, hello, I'm WolfmanDan08, welcome to my channel, and if you enjoy indies, why not consider subscribing? Or if you like the video, give it a like or comment. Trying to get to 1,000 subs, and every little bit helps. Thank you for sticking around. Now let's talk about this game. You play an unnamed one-armed man who has arrived to investigate the long-abandoned alchemist tower that the people have whispered about housing a great evil. Something is affecting the surrounding area. Crops are dying, people have gone missing, and the animals are acting strange. There's some weird things happening here. Now the story isn't told through the protagonist or ever explicitly explained to you. Instead, you'll find a lot of environmental clues and some writings as you travel deeper that can shed light on what happened and what went wrong. The part of the game that will either sell you or have you look the other way is the controls. I do want to first state that you can choose a more modern control layout if you prefer to not deal with what I feel is a genuine strength of the game. Though the game tells you it's better experienced with the controller, you use the left stick to move forward and back, the shoulder buttons to look up or down, and the triggers turn left or right. Now the right analog stick controls your right hand, as you use it to interact with puzzles, switches, or pick things up. Later, you'll get a weapon to attack with. There is the option for King's Field controls, where your left analog moves and shoulder buttons will strafe. There are a lot of options for how you want to play, which makes the game a lot more accessible for everyone. If you don't feel like fiddling with all these elements, you can just use a normal mouse and keyboard setup. But please don't. For me, combat doesn't require the same fine controls like puzzle solving or interacting with objects do. Instead, just unsheath your weapon and hit attack. After a few hits, the enemy will die. But the game isn't combat heavy at all. There are probably less than a dozen monsters to fight in the whole game, and they're never too difficult. The game is not long at all. It took me less than 2 hours to complete, which for some of you sounds like a good night. And let me tell you why that is. Caput Mortum is really good. I had some high hopes for this game back when I played the demo, and it delivered exactly what I wanted. The controls took me a while to get used to. Specifically for some reason, my brain couldn't master the up or down of the triggers. But once I was in, I sat down and finished the game in one sitting. Okay, but let me first get the negatives out of the way. The combat is unneeded. It's no more complicated than hit, step back to let them respond, and hit again. Repeat that for every enemy. It was a bit disappointing when I still had to do that at the end of the game, and it was just as unsatisfying as at the start. There can also be some issues when picking up items. Sometimes I just can't seem to get my hand over the right spot to pick items up. It's luckily not game breaking, but it can be just a little frustrating. The control system is used to great effect, and because the game is so short, it never becomes annoying. The way you move and turn with the shoulder buttons makes the game feel vintage without frustrating. I really enjoyed how intuitive the controls are. Without spoiling too much, some elements that really stood out for me are when you had to follow the hand movements of this friendly fellow in order to not get hit, or using a sponge soaked in special water to reveal a secret recipe. It reminds me of when a bunch of those weird hand movement games came out a few years ago, like Surgeon Simulator or Hand Simulator, and really just used an interesting control scheme for humor instead of immersive gameplay. Minus the controls, there's a genuinely tense and foreboding atmosphere throughout this game. It's never a bunch of cheap jump scares, instead taking its time to tell an interesting story about man's hubris. A little early on when you're going around the classroom trying to solve puzzles, you'll keep running into the only pupil left. And need to play with it. It's an incredibly tense moment every time you hear it coming or find it hiding in a corner. Later on, there's a similar encounter with another creature that also had me on edge throughout. I wish there was more of that instead of the dull combat. But the moments they put in the game are incredibly memorable and well paced out. Visually, the game reminds me of Amnesia, and it was clearly done on purpose since it shares a lot of DNA with that series, including the screen blurring and shaking when you look at an enemy, the story being told through journals, and the overall gothic atmosphere. But it's not a ripoff. Instead, the developers injected their own DNA into this. There are some interesting creature designs, and at a certain point of the game, you find yourself in an underground town. And from there, trust me, it goes places. But don't let me spoil that for you. I wholeheartedly recommend this game. It's one of the best I played this year, and considering the length, it's a game that never overstays its welcome. You might feel it's not worth it to buy something that only lasts for 2 hours, but you gotta trust me on this. The experience is well worth the price. I hope I've sold you on trying something different, and let me know if you've already played it or plan on getting it in the future. But until next time, have a great day and enjoy gaming. Goodbye.